All right, Rob Parker, when I pledged my fraternity in college, Kappa Alpha Psi, shout out to all the noops.
Okay.
We used to sing this. I got a feeling.
I hope better than that. Was it better than that?
I got a feeling, brother. And I got a feeling, Rob Parker, that you don't understand that we're watching history right now.
I think you're premature with your history.
No, I'm not premature.
Yes, you are.
Last night, the Golden State Warriors became the first team since Bill Russell's Boston Celtics since 1966. 50, how many years? 54? How many years is that? Somebody do some quick math. 53 years.
Didn't you work at the New York
Times? NBA team in 53 years to make it to 5 straight NBA finals.
Which we all knew.
History.
Wow. Which we all knew going into the season because I picked them to make
that.
That
Doesn't diminish it.
Yes, it
That's
does.
how good they are. You just knew how good the Golden State Warriors were.
No, I know how bad the NBA is.
So you mean you're going to take away from the Warriors' accomplishment of making 5 straight finals. You're going to diminish that. Showtime Lakers didn't do it. The Jordan Bulls didn't do it.
Yeah, because there was competition in the league back then. It was competition.
Dr. J and Moses Malone didn't do it.
It was competition.
Hakeem Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, Shaq and Kobe.
There was competition. Don't you understand? That's what makes sports great, Chris Broussard. Not watching the Harlem Globetrotters beat the Washington Nationals every game. No, you mentioned it. What was the coach's name? Whose record was 2 and 14,000.
What does that got to do?
Because that's where we go when we talk about this current NBA. You want to go and beat your chest and tell us how great the Golden State Warriors. They're not great. The NBA stinks. You smell that, Chris Broussard? Smell my thumb.
I do smell it.
Smell my thumb.
And let me make a correction.
To the high heavens.
Let me make a correction from a few minutes ago. You didn't shower. I smell it. You didn't shower. What are you talking about? The NBA stinks.
I'm a little moist.
Let me name a few people for you who aren't on the Golden State Warriors. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kawhi Leonard, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler, Kyrie Irving, and all that crew in Boston. LeBron James and a bunch of number 2 picks. C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard, Nikola Jokic, James Harden and Chris Paul, 2 Hall of Famers. Russell Westbrook and Paul George. Probably 2 Hall of Famers, certainly 1. The only person ever to average a triple-double 3 straight times. What are you talking about? That's competition up and down the line.
And let me tell you, here's Chris Broussard. This is where these NBA slappies like Chris Broussard are all like, fawning over the Warriors. Oh, my God, they haven't done this since 1966.
Those are facts. Why are you changing your voice?
Because that's you. I'm going to tell you this. When you talk about that, you know when the Celtics were the last team to make it to 5 straight finals? Do you know how many teams were in the NBA back then? It wasn't 30. You know how many it was? It was 10.
Not 2.
That ain't, yes, thank you, LeBron. 4. It was 10 teams.
What's that got to do with anything?
It's so much easier. If you had a great team back then, there weren't free agency, people weren't moving. So it was easy for a team to do it. It tells you with 30 teams, there's no way in the world you should be going to the finals 5 years in a row. It tells you about the lack.
Argument.
No, I'm not.
That's how great they are.
No, it tells you about the lack of competition. Don't compare this to the Celtics of the 60s. Back then, let me give you what the Eastern Conference was. You ready? Philadelphia 76ers, Boston
60s?
Celtics, the Kings, the Knicks, and the Wizards.
This is the 60s?
This is the 60s.
That's your best argument?
That's all that there was.
The 60s?
You ready for the Western Conference? You know what the Western Conference was back in 1966? Warriors, Hawks, Lakers, Bulls, and Pistons. That was the West. So I'm trying to tell you what they've accomplished here in this watered down. It's just like LeBron James went to 7 straight.
8.
No, wasn't it 7?
8 straight finals.
From the East?
Yeah, 4 with Cleveland, 4 with Miami.
All right, so 8 straight in a watered down East. That's why he came to the West, couldn't even make the playoffs. That's why nobody respects it. Because there's no competition. They don't respect it because there's no competition in the East. Finally, when LeBron left, all of a sudden you got better teams and better players.
Give these dudes their props. Steph Curry, what? A number 7 pick? Klay Thompson, a number 12 pick. Draymond Green, a second-round pick. It's not 5 blue chippers playing together. These are guys who worked hard, who nobody thought, a lot of people didn't think were going to be great. Then they got Kevin Durant. Yeah, KD going there made them absolutely unbeatable. But that's on KD. And you love KD, and I like KD. I'm not going to kill him for what he did. But this team is a great team. For you to say they're not great,
I'm not saying,
you did say they weren't great.
I'm telling you, them getting to the finals 5 years in a row is an indictment about how bad the NBA as a whole is, because it shouldn't happen. No other sport do you have a dominance like this in a sport with 30 teams. You can't take a look at back in 1966.
You just had it a few years ago with Michael Jordan. What was that?
No, it wasn't.
6 straight finals in 8 years.
No,
6 years
it wasn't.
He played full seasons.
But I don't know.
Dominated.
But I wasn't positive it was going to happen. I'm talking about 5 straight years.
You weren't, but I was. I believed in Mike.
I'm telling you.
And I was right.
It's about the
dominated. What are you talking about?
It's a lack of the back of competition in this league that's happened. And everybody can cover their eyes and act like, oh, my God, it's unbelievable what we're watching, the Golden State Warriors. Stop it, Chris. This league is weak. Everybody knew it was going to be in the finals before the season even started. There's no competition.
Who's going to be in from the East? Who's going to be in from the East?
Toronto, that's what I picked. And then they're
not going to make the finals.
I'm just telling you that's who I picked.
You just said everybody knows who was going to be in the finals. We believe
before
Golden
that, it was
State.
LeBron James every single year. Everybody knew. All I'm telling you is that ain't no.
3 of the times Golden State or what?
That ain't compelling.
3 of the times Golden State made it, they didn't have Kevin Durant.
That ain't compelling.
This is a great team. Give them their props.
I'm just telling you it ain't the greatest thing we've ever seen. That's all I'm telling you.
I didn't say it was the greatest thing we've ever seen.
Well, everybody.
I said this is an all-time great team.
Who'd they play? The Portland Trail Blazers. Did they even show up for the series? How embarrassing is that?
What about the last round? What about the Houston Rockets? What about James Harden? You said he's the best player in the world right now.
What do you mean?
I know your right now means for the next 30 minutes, but you said he was. Did you not say he's the best player in the world?
Chris, you said OKC would get to the Western Conference Finals. You want to nitpick about picks?
What?
Didn't you pick them?
I picked Portland to beat Denver.
No, you
picked Denver to get to the conference finals.
Did
you pick Brooklyn to beat Philadelphia?
Did you pick OKC to get to the Western Conference Finals? Okay, I just want to make sure. And you had the Lakers winning 53 games and going to the West.
You had the Lakers making the playoffs, so don't jump bad. I can't believe you're going to sit here and try to diminish what the Golden State Warriors have done. Give them their props. This is a great era of NBA basketball.
This is one of the worst eras of the NBA.
The league is growing in leaps
LeBron ruined the
and
league,
bounds.
and this is where we are.
You're taking players from all over the world, not just from America. You got players from all over the world. And in fact, let's look at the NBA history. Up into the 60s, through the 60s, there was a unwritten quote on how many blacks you could have on the team. So the league wasn't that great because you didn't have the best players in the league. In the 70s, you had all types of problems, so it was on tape delay. And in the 80s, 90s, and so on, you weren't getting players from all over the world. Now you're getting players from the entire globe, Africa, Asia, Australia, Europe, wherever, South America. These are the best players in the world. You got just as many Hall of Famers as you had during Jordan's day, and you got a number 7 pick, number 12 pick, and second-round draft pick dominating because they work hard and they have the perfect system for their talent.
You know what?
Give them their props.
What makes great drama is when you don't know who's going to win before the season starts. We could play the whole routine and, out west, you told me about all the storylines. Look at the Western Conference. Oh, they're going to make a run. No, we knew Golden State was going to win. We all did.
Did you know that after Kevin Durant when he got hurt?
Yes, because I did. Because I picked them.
You thought they beat Houston. How far did you think they'd go?
And I thought that they would beat Portland. Why would they? If they could beat Houston, why wouldn't they beat Portland?
So are they going to win the championship?
No, they're not. No matter who comes out of the East, they will not. And I'll bet you wings right here.
We got wings on that.
Let's make it 20-piece. A 20-piece and a Diet Coke.
We already got a 20-piece on it.
All right.
20-piece. I can't believe you trying to hate. We need Martin Weiss in here to play the hate. What do you think? Are the Warriors really something historically great? or is it just a watered-down NBA? Let's start with Jared in Australia. We love when we get the calls from other
down
continents, especially down under. All right. Jared, what's happening, man?
Oh, not much. I enjoy. It's so great listening to you two debate. It's why I listen to you every day. I love it.
Thank you.
Josh. You're both right. Rob, you're right. Not in the sense that the league's watered down. It's just the fact that the Golden State are that much better than everyone else that it makes the league look watered down. So you're kind of correct there. Chris is also correct. I think that the Warriors are that great. People might not recognise it right now, just because I think they're sort of still a bit salty that the fact that Kevin Durant joined a 73-win team.
Okay.
But I think that in 10, 15, 20 years, you'll look back and just realise that how great, and it's probably the greatest team ever, and then no one will probably repeat that, I don't think.
Yeah, I think that makes some sense. I mean, look, when Durant, there's no doubt when Durant went to the Warriors, that definitely tipped the scales. I mean, they were probably the best team in the league when he went to them. And then you add a guy that's
they weren't
top
probably,
they
player.
Were. Well, they had lost the finals,
right? But they were still there. 173
most people
games.
Felt they were right. If Draymond's not suspended,
they probably would have won, but it didn't happen. Let's go to Sherman in Florida. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What you got, Sherman?
Hey, how you doing, guys? I want to say too, you're both all right too, in a way. But I don't think if Kevin Durant is not there, they wouldn't go all the way like that. It'll be a good team. You got to respect the guys giving it up, playing together. But if he up and leave, then they will not be there next year.
Well, how are they doing it this year without him?
Well, they didn't win a championship yet. It's about championship.
But he's saying they won't even get there.
They haven't won it yet.
You saying they won't even get there?
I said that they would get there even without Durant. Okay. All right, Sherman, thanks for the call.
Aaron in Tampa, you're on with Chris and Rob.
Thanks, Chris. Hey, I think you got your name wrong because you must be Christopher Robin because you got to work with Eeyore every day. Like, hating on this, hating on that.
Thank you. Aaron.
Aaron, what are you talking about? I know. Hey, it ain't time for Trash Talking Tuesday. What are you doing?
Hey, I'm just speaking the truth. No, it's not a watered-down NBA. We have to look at it through the lens of, you're looking through the old man's lens, looking, these guys were great in the 90s, these guys were great in the 80s. Like, come on. We're going to look back at it 20 years later. Okay, Russ, great talent. James Harden, great talent, all-time great talent. We're just looking at it right now. As far as this era right now, the Warriors are the best that we've seen in this era. And it's hard to classify eras, but we got to give them their props right now, and that's what they are.
All right, Aaron, appreciate the call. Hey, Rob G, we can't see the bottom of the screen. Who is that? Damien in California. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Damien?
Hey, what's up, guys? Big fan of the show.
Thank you.
I do got an issue with saying that the league is watered down because I do believe that as time goes on, we got bigger, stronger, faster athletes. We've seen shooting like you've never believed. But I do believe that the rules are, it is very different from back in the day. I mean, I love
it's a much different game. No question.
Damien, you can't even touch anybody defensively.
But everybody's playing by those rules.
I understand that.
The players, look, today's players are more athletic than ever. They shoot the basketball better than ever, and they handle the ball better than ever.
Damien, thanks for the call. What about Tom in El Paso? You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Tom?
Hey, how you doing? I think you guys are both right in a way, but here, this is the thing. Rob, earlier you said that whoever comes out of the East is going to beat the Warriors, and I think for sure that the Bucks will beat the Warriors because LeBron gave everybody the blueprint 4 years ago. You get a dominant post, you get shooters all around, and you beat the Warriors because they can't match up. It's just that plain and simple. And if Giannis comes out of the East, he's got the dominant post, and you got all the shooters. And the other thing is Curry and Clay and Draymond all said years ago that they wanted to be easier. They didn't want to have to play as hard. That's why they got Durant. Sure, they can play well, and they win a lot of games, but Curry gets beat up, gets worn down, and without Durant, ultimately, the whole team suffers because they have to play so hard. They have to run around 5 miles in a game running off picks and getting shots. Durant makes it easier for them.
He does make it easier. There's no
doubt.
question
That's a
about
good
it.
call, Tom,
But let's
too.
see. What are you going to say if they beat Milwaukee or win the championship?
I don't think they're going to beat Milwaukee.
If they do, what are you going to say? Then what happens to your theory?
Then if they lose to Milwaukee, then the only thing
you keep
is
saying
Milwaukee
if they beat Milwaukee, what happens to your theory?
Then Milwaukee just wasn't seasoned enough.
Look, these boys are bad. Give them their props. These boys are bad.
Thanks, Tom, for the call.
Sure.
Appreciate it. Peter in Wisconsin, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Peter?
Hey, guys. Great show.
Thank you.
I was just calling in to kind of side with Chris on this. You have dynasties that have been great for every sport. Chris, you mentioned the Bulls. You had the Yankees when they were going to the World Series back-to-back. And most relevantly, you have the Patriots as of right now.
Right.
They're the most watched football team probably in America or in the world. The Golden State Warriors are great for this sport. Now, I'm a Bucks fan. Go Bucks. But, if the Warriors and the Bucks meet in the finals and the Bucks lose to the Warriors, it's not because the Bucks are a bad team. It's because the Warriors are just that good.
All right.
Rob, let me
and
say,
if it's the other way around, then what would it be?
To you, Rob. You're sitting here telling me the league is so watered down.
Oh yeah.
But yet Golden State's not going to win the finals. How can you have both?
No, because they don't have the guy going into the season that I thought they would have in KD.
Then don't tell me the league
It's
is
watered
so watered
down.
down.
Yes, it is.
You're saying they have this huge advantage.
They just made it to the
He's
finals
not
5
there.
years in a row.
They
5
have
years
won
in a row.
5 straight playoff games without him.
That ain't, Chris, that ain't, what is that to hang your hat on against a team that wasn't even expected to go to the Western Conference Finals, that wet the bed?
They went to the Western Conference Finals.
Check the
they
sheets.
They didn't wet the bed.
Check the sheets.
They got beat down. That's what happened.
They wet the bed, and matter of fact, if you look close, there might be a little something brown in there, too. That's how bad it was.
I don't know what your sheets look like, but my sheets don't be talking about sheets like that with me. You didn't shower today. Now your sheets are funky. What's going on? Right. All right, we bring him in every week, and he lays down the law. He's our man, NBA champion, Fox Sports NBA analyst, Antonio Daniels. What's happening, man?
What's up, bud?
Chris Broussard, Rob Parker. How y'all doing, man?
We are great, man. We are great, and you are bothered by the Oregonian newspaper. I guess it ripped Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum, huh?
Yeah, I am. Like that's wrong. This is a team that was eliminated first round last year. They were swept last year.
By the Pelicans, right?
Right, by the Pelicans. Actually, the last 2 years, because then they were swept by Golden State the year before that.
Right.
And then this year, they beat Oklahoma City first round, have one of the most memorable clinchers in NBA history, and then they beat Denver next round, and then they lose to the best team of this generation right now.
Well, let me read the headline so people know what you're talking about. In the Oregonian, which is Portland's hometown newspaper, it says Splash Brothers ? Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum look like the Trash Brothers against Warriors.
You know what? That's a great newspaper headline,
to.
though. That is a good one. There's a play on Splash Brothers, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, okay. So then what happens is, now when Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum start to feel a certain way about this newspaper, because the thing is this, what they tried to say is, well, these aren't our words. That's what they said, the Oregonian. And here's my thing. It's not your words, but you still have first right of refusal as far as what you choose to print about your team and about your stars. And to me, what this team has accomplished this year is borderline amazing. What they've accomplished, especially after Nuggets going down, they deserve much more respect than what they're getting from their own newspaper.
So are you?
I do agree that it's been a good season for Portland, but this was a really good season.
This is like I was going to say to KD.
Right.
Remember the Oklahoma
Mr. Unreliable.
Mr.
Right.
Unreliable, and he actually wound up moaning so much that they gave him a retraction of a headline, which I've never seen. I mean,
yeah,
okay.
Here's the thing,
that's cool.
Antonio, you're right that if CJ and Lillard get angry and say they decide we're not talking to the Oregonian anymore,
Right.
that's their
Exactly.
right. But on the other hand, the newspaper doesn't work for the Blazers.
Exactly.
So they,
No, I understand that.
You're right in that. Look, there could be repercussions, but the newspaper can say what they want.
Exactly. You can't be afraid of criticizing somebody because they might not talk to us. Because if that was the case,
it's not about being afraid to criticize somebody. But here's my thing: you have to understand, just like players understand, for every action, there's a consequence. There's a consequence. So then, when players start to turn off towards certain media members, and then people start to look at the players like, oh man, look at these guys, they're sensitive and so on and so forth. We take that out of our own lives. If you put that in your own life and somebody is talking about you and the way you perform, how bad you are, so on and so forth, and then they come up and try and hug you, you're not going to be that, like, come on, man.
I agree. I get it. I mean, that's why I don't get mad if players get mad at me or clap back at me, so to speak.
You know what I've been through in my career,
if somebody was ripping me and then came up and, was trying to be cool, I get that.
I get that. Speaking of Lillard, would you give him the Supermax? What is it, 191
He's getting
million?
the 4 years, 191, I believe.
191. Are you good with that?
Yeah, I think you have to. Because if you put him up there, in the same class as Steph Curry and James Harden and Russell Westbrook and all these other guys. He's first team last year. He was first team all-league. How can you not give him the Supermax is the question I ask.
Yeah, I had him second team this year.
Right.
Yeah,
so he's
up
one
there.
of the best. Right, he's one of the best guards in the league, one of the best and elite point guards in this league. The question is, how can you justify not giving him the Supermax when, if you're Damian Lillard, you're sitting on the side and you're watching other guys get the Supermax? Chris Paul got $40 million. He got $40 million, 160 over 4 years.
Right.
And you can't. So if he gets that, there's no way that you can possibly justify Damian Lillard being the age that he's at, not getting the Supermax.
Well, Antonio, it really is about philosophy. And because I don't think these Blazers, if I had to bet, I would bet they don't win a championship with Damian Lillard. However, to me, that doesn't mean you don't pay him. This guy's probably on course to be a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best guards in the league. He'll be a local legend. And some people would say, oh, we're probably not going to win the title, so let's just tear it down and go young. That doesn't work. That rarely works. We can talk about the Sacramento Kings, the Phoenix Suns, Detroit, Orlando. We can go on and on with these teams that have gone to the bottom and tried to rebuild it with draft picks, and that's just buying time. If you tear it down, guess what you're looking for? The next Damian Lillard.
Yeah, but the flip side to that, and I'll have you respond, is like I thought Sacramento did the right thing when they decided that they weren't going to give Boogie Cousins $204 million.
Well, Boogie's different.
No,
Damian
but I'm just
was
saying,
a good leader.
But I'm just saying, I know they're not the same player, but they made the decision that even though he's a great player and it's going to hurt them, that they just didn't think that was the guy that you give that kind of money to. If we're having problems with him already, what are we going to do once we sign him?
Right, and I think Boogie Cousins is a different case and scenario, though. I think he's than what we're talking about with Damian Lillard.
Okay.
Because Damian Lillard, like I believe Chris was just alluding to, is completely different. They're both great players, but what you're getting in Damian Lillard off the floor and even on the floor, as far as his personality, his character, his integrity, all the things that he carries along with him that maybe at one time you questioned about Boogie Cousins, you don't have those same questions about Damian Lillard.
That's fair.
And Boogie never led him to the playoffs either. So that was a thing, too. It's the Odd Couple. We're joined by NBA champion Antonio Daniels. Antonio, what do you think about – I want to ask you a two-part question. One, the achievement of these Warriors to reach 5 straight finals, first team in 53 years since Bill Russell's Celtics to do it. So, obviously, Duncan, Magic, Jordan, Bird, none of them did it. Tell me about that accomplishment, how great it is, or is the league watered down? And two,
because that's my argument.
How far can these guys go without KD if indeed he doesn't come back?
Okay, the first part I think what they've accomplished is incredible. I think what they've accomplished is incredible because they've done it different ways. And what I think gets kind of lost in the way Golden State has accomplished what they've accomplished is we can look at their ability to score. We can look at them having 3 of the best shooters of all time, possibly the best 3 shooters of all time on the same team, and even prior to. What I think gets lost in Golden State is how good they are and how disciplined they are defensively. Defensively. This is a very good defensive basketball team. With Kevin Durant, without Kevin Durant, you have Draymond Green, who has the versatility to guard 1 through 5. And he gives them the opportunity to play to their identity. I understand they can score. I understand that they can shoot, and they hit amazing shots. I am not taking that from them. But I think over this last 5 years, what has really got lost is how good and disciplined this team is on the defensive side of the ball.
Let me say this to you. Here's my argument about the 5 years in a row. And this is the only I'm not saying they're not a great team and they put in the work and everything's worked out. But when you compare them to the Celtics of the 60s, I'll ask you, how many teams were in the NBA back in 1966 when the Celtics did it for a 5th year in a row? Do you know?
No, but I do know it was only, 2 rounds?
And they were
they didn't play nearly as many playoffs.
There were 8 teams. 8 or 9
there were
teams.
10 teams, right?
So what you're saying, Rob, is this is more impressive.
No, what I'm telling to you is it was back then. It made sense that if you had a good team, there was no free agency. If you had a good team, they stayed together for years, the Celtics, right? And there were only a handful of teams you had to beat in order to get there. In a 30-team league, there's no reason. It tells you about the rest of the league is watered down, whether people want to acknowledge. It doesn't mean that they're not great, but the competition for when LeBron made it to 8 straight finals and the Warriors make it to 5 straight championships. Okay. And we knew this, Antonio. Didn't you know they were going to make the finals this year? You knew this.
Yeah. I mean, but look at the talent that they have. But let me respond to what you just said really quick, Rob. Like, is the league now more skilled than it's ever been?
Yes.
Yes, but it's also more watered down than it's ever been.
What do you mean by watered down? Like, players are better now.
Not all the players are not better.
Well,
no,
you're 250, but your players are.
That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm not saying all players. I'm speaking in general. I'm speaking in general of the skill level of players today as opposed to – see, here's the issue. The reason I don't like comparing this to teams of the 60s and 70s is because of this. Guys in the 60s and 70s can say what they want to about today's NBA. But if someone from today's NBA says something about guys in the 60s or 70s, they're disrespecting the game. And I will not do that. There's no way I could disrespect Bill Russell and those guys that have basically paved the way for me an opportunity to play in the NBA for 13 years. So I'm not comfortable kind of comparing the 60s and 70s to today, but I will tell you this. A team or a league with 10 teams, you can't compare that to a league of 30 teams where guys are bigger, stronger, faster, more athletic, and more agile.
And from all over the world. All right, that's right. Our man, Antonio Daniels. Great stuff, man. We appreciate it.
My socks are wet from the watered-down league, but that's all right. I'll survive.
Just ignore him, Antonio.
Thank you. Thanks, bud.
All right, my man.